two who were literally in the crosshairs themselves that day in Dallas. The former governor of Texas, former Secretary of the Navy, John Connally, his lovely wife, Nellie, join us here in Los Angeles. And later we'll meet Frank Mankiewicz, whose firm is handling the publicity and doing a hell of a job for Oliver Stone's JFK. It's a great pleasure to finally have you on this program.
Thank you. We're delighted to be on your show.
I mentioned shot in the wrist. You were shot in 3 other places.
That's right.
Shot all over.
Let's go back to that day, November 22nd, 1963. That was a political day for John Kennedy. That was mending wounds in Texas, wasn't it?
Yes, basically he came, Larry, to raise money and to improve his image in Texas, and for no other reason. You know, there's been a lot of stories written about he came to resolve a dispute between me and Senator Yarborough, between Johnson and Senator Yarborough. That's hogwash. He did no such thing.
Came to raise money.
Came to raise money and improve his image.
Get votes.
Because Texas was going to be a key state.
It was.
And Johnson was going to stay on the ticket, obviously.
I think beyond any question. But, you know, they carried him with Johnson on the ticket. They carried Texas by 43,000 votes in 1960, that's all.
Nellie, were you in Fort Worth with them before they came to Dallas?
Yes. I was with them on, we were with them on the entire tour.
Now, he spoke that morning at a breakfast, right?
Yes.
In Fort Worth.
Yes.
And then flew over to Dallas, right?
And we flew with him.
That's like a 10-minute flight.
That's right.
And then it was Love Field. There was no Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
That's correct.
You landed at Love Field. Was it all designed that you would get in the car that way, that they knew you two would be in front, he and Jackie in the back?
Yes.
We were their hosts in Texas. And we sat in all kinds of different places, though, during
During part of the ride in the motorcade, Jackie's hair was blowing and she wanted to move, and she was wearing a hat, and she'd sit up on the jump seat alongside Nellie, and I got in the back seat. Obviously, that wasn't satisfactory with the president, so he ordered her to get in the back seat, and I was sitting on the jump seat in front of the president. Nellie was sitting on the jump seat in front of Miss Kennedy.
So had you not reversed, she would have been shot.
Yeah, well, no,
Well, we don't know.
We don't know that.
Who knows?
How do you know?
Any question about an open convertible? Was that ever raised?
No, it really wasn't. What was raised?
Like that. Larry had in the paper and...
Larry, what was raised was, number one, as governor, I resisted the motorcade in the first place. I didn't want it. I thought we'd see some insulting signs, some ugly remarks along the motorcade, and but they overruled it at the White House. They wanted it. Then I objected to the publication of the parade route for the same reason. They overruled that the week before the president came. They published the parade route, the motorcade route, and
did you want a closed car?
No, I never raised that. I never raised that issue. I really wasn't fearful of an assassination. I was fearful of nasty gestures or words.
Now, in fact, that didn't occur, right? There were no nasty gestures. There were no signs.
Couldn't have been nicer.
You were riding along now. I guess you'll never forget this scene, so relive it for us. You're going down, you make that turn, and you're heading toward that repository. That's Elm Street, right?
Well, see, we wanted them to do so well in Texas, and we wanted Texans to be so good to them that I was just filled with the joy that everything was working out just fine.
A beautiful day.
Yes,
beautiful
everything was perfect.
So who said something? What happened there?
I turned to the president and I said...
You had to lean that way, right?
Yeah, but I could see him.
Jackie was right behind you.
She's right behind me. And I said, Mr. President, you can't say Dallas doesn't love you now.
The crowds have been tremendous.
They had just
Enthusiasm was
cheering.
amazing.
Fort Worth was that way too, right? And the day
All
before.
the crowds were that way.
Same way.
Screaming.
Did he respond?
Yes, he did. He said, no, I don't think I can.
Yeah, but he was busy acknowledging the cheering, and
What's the next thing you remember?
I heard a noise.
The next thing I remember was I thought I heard a rifle shot.
And you turned...
I turned to look over my right shoulder because that's where the sound came from. And I saw nothing out of the corner of my eye, and I turned to look over my left shoulder. About the time I got square again, Larry, I felt a blow about like that, as if someone had hit me in the back with a closed fist. It knocked me over, and as I looked down, I was covered with blood.
Conscious all the time?
Conscious. And I said, my God, they're going to kill us all.
And you said that out loud, right?
I said it out loud.
It was a terrible pain in the back?
No pain, no.
Just a thud?
Just a thud. I felt no pain after that. Nellie then immediately pulled me down into her lap. And about that time, we heard another sound. And another rifle shot. And the loud smack was the bullet hitting the president's head. I was still conscious. Nellie was there with her head down on mine, and we were facing forward into the back of the front seat. The car had a light blue velour interior, and immediately after that smacking sound, the whole car was covered with blood and brain tissue. There were chunks of brain tissue as big as my little finger on my clothes.
And you were turning which way?
I turned at first noise that I didn't recognize as a gunshot, just a noise. And I turned, and I saw the president reach up and clutch his throat, and then just sink down. He said nothing.
Oh, he said nothing.
Nothing. Then there was the second, well, John was whirling around, and he was hit.
Now, that couldn't have been the same bullet then, Nellie.
No, and he didn't hear the second bullet. You don't hear the one that hits you. The first shot hit the president. Second shot went through John's back and out under the nipple and through his lung and his ribs and crushed his wrist and landed in his leg. Now all this happened in seconds. I reached over and grabbed him and pulled him down in my lap. And he was holding his hand like this. And by pulling him over in my lap, we closed the wound that he had received, that the doctors told us was a sucking wound, where he would have strangled or been asphyxiated if we hadn't closed the wound, which we did accidentally. But then I just leaned over him. All I was trying to do was get him out of the...
So you're fully conscious that both men have been shot?
That's 2 shots. Then I never looked back in the back again after I had John in my lap. But the third shot, all this matter and everything sprayed all over us.
And then Jackie Kennedy said, "My God, I've got his brains in my hand."
She actually said that.
Oh, yeah.
You heard her say that. You heard her too?
Oh, yeah, I was still conscious.
And
Absolutely.
with all the clamor and the sound and the sirens, you heard that.
Oh, yes. Well, see, we were as close as we are to you.
And she said, "My God, I've got his
I've got his
brains."
brains. And the driver called to the escort and said, "Let's get out of
Government
here."
said, "Let's get out of here, quick."
And we took off.
We'll be right back with Governor John Connally and Nellie Connally, and later Frank Mankiewicz will be joining us. We'll be including your phone calls. We're in Los Angeles. This is Larry King Live. Don't go away.